The high heat not just reserved for Iowa, but into Minnesota, with the National Weather Service putting out excessive heat warnings for the southern part of the state. Ag Day's Michelle Rook joins us from the western leg of the tour on what's its last leg from Spencer, Iowa to Rochester, Minnesota. And Michelle, heat and drought were also impacting crops where you traveled.
Crop scouts here in Minnesota are finding a variable crop due to drought stress and spotty rains, and that will likely mean some yields that are below long-term averages.
I mean, there's a lot of two bean pods on there. It's a little concerning too, I'd say.
Minnesota farmer Brad Nelson was disappointed with how the day started out in soybean fields in south central counties.
The first 2-3 stops I stopped, the two bean pods were very noticeable. And the first one I counted a plant that had 48 pods on it, and 24 were two bean or one bean pods, which is, I'd say that's concerning.
Concerning because this area received more rain than other areas. It means a yield hit in his book, and it's a combined result of not just drought, but heat stress.
Well, it's a third less yield, you know, out of that plant almost. Maybe not quite a third, but probably 20-25% anyway.
And there's also a great deal of variability in the crop due to the spottiness of the rains that did fall during the season.
It's been popcorn showers all summer long, so it's made winners and losers in counties.
That will make it tough to get a statewide yield in Minnesota that exceeds long-term averages.
Well, for the state checkoff, we're betting, we took another bushel off, we're betting at 50 bushel beans. I think last year the state was 52.
Scout and Nebraska farmer Tim Gregerson says drought also hit the corn.
It is fired up to one leaf below the ear, and so you can see that there's been, drought stress in here.
Plus, the heat also played a role, and he gauges it by the lack of uniformity, or what he calls bouncy tassels, and the girth of the ears.
But if I can put my hand and touch my middle finger with my thumb on these ears of corn, that means that we don't have the depth there to have a monster yield, okay? This doesn't have the depth of kernel that's going to finish above average this year.
I'm thinking right at crop insurance. This feels like a crop from 2 years ago. On the corn, it was highly variable that year, and we ended up right around crop insurance levels.
And the statewide corn yield is probably headed below historical norms.
It's not bad, but it just doesn't, there's not anything that's really popped out at me to get it above average.
In Minnesota, I'm Michelle Rook reporting for Ag Day.